Hi, it's Alaska Granny. FEMA can do great things, but in times of emergencies and natural disasters, none of us want to be dependent on the government or FEMA for our basic needs. We can look at the suggestions that FEMA asks us to have for our basic emergency kits that we should all have in our home. I'm going to go over those items with you today and tell you what kind of things I think you should also add to your emergency kit. FEMA gives you the absolute bare bones basics. They tell you to have enough supplies for 3 days. If you look at actual real emergencies that may have happened to you or you've seen on the news, 3 days is nowhere near enough time to recover from a big disaster. The first thing on your emergency list is water. We know that we need 1 gallon of water per day per person, and you should have it for a minimum of 3 days. Each person should actually have a 14-day supply if you really want to be prepared for an emergency. You should store a minimum of 14 gallons of water per person for your family. You aren't going to need water just for drinking. You're also going to need water for hygiene, sanitation needs, cooking, and cleaning. So make sure that you are storing as much water as you can. We know that we have to have water to survive, and so what happens when that water runs out? You may still have running water in your home, but it may not be safe to drink. So you should go beyond just having a few gallons of water and have a way to purify more water if you need to. One easy way to purify water is adding bleach. But if you want to add bleach, you need to have some eyedroppers so that you can drop a few drops into each quart. Bleach is not an easy item to store for long term because the bleach in it evaporates and you're left with just water. So a next option would be to store something like pool shock. But pool shock is a chemical. You need to make sure that you store it in an airtight container and you store it outside of your house in somewhere like your garage or a shed because it is a chemical. But add some of the powdered pool shock to some water and then you have made your own bleach and you can use drops of that pool shock water into the water that you want to drink or use for other purposes. A pack of pool shock is a great way to have a nice stockpile of bleach, but you need to make sure that you store it carefully and know that that doesn't last forever either, but you can store pool shock for many years. Another simple way to have fresh water, especially if you want to put something in your bug-out bag or your hiking bag, is to get aqua tabs. Each strip of aqua tabs has 10 tablets. Stir for 10 minutes and then allow it to sit for 30 minutes and you would have water that's safe to drink. The aqua tabs are really nice. They don't make a terrible weird taste that some water purification additives give water a nasty taste, but the aqua tabs work very well. They're lightweight. They go easily into any little tiny emergency kit, your bug out bag, your hiking bag, your camping gear. The aqua tabs are a great item to have so that you can purify water in many kinds of situations. You can also get potable aqua, which are germicidal tablets that come in a little bottle, and you can drop these into water and purify it also. Whenever you get something like an aqua tab or something like this, make sure you read the directions carefully so you understand how to use it because it varies from item to item of how you make your water safe to drink. Another item you might want to consider is some kind of a water filter. Whether you want an in-home, like a Berkey water filter that you can pour in gallons of water at a time and it gravity feeds down to fresh water, or a personal water filter such as a Life Straw that you can carry with you no matter where you go and you can drink safely sipping through the Life Straw to purify the water within the filter itself. There's many different kinds of water filters. It's a great idea to make sure you get at least one for your emergency needs. The next category of supplies is food. You need a minimum of 3 days worth of open and eat, shelf-stable food that you can eat with absolutely no preparation. If you have no running water, no electricity, no way to cook or prepare anything, you want foods you can just open and eat, and you have something to sustain you no matter what. So think about things like crackers with tuna, peanut butter. Open and eat cans of food that are like full meals entrees like chili, ravioli, tamales, soups. Look at the packets. You can find all kinds of different packets of foods that come in shelf-stable packages. They're designed to be heated in the microwave for 60 seconds, but they're fully cooked. You don't have to heat them up. You can just tear them open and eat them. They're already prepared. You can find healthy options as well as just your family's favorites. Everything from rice and grains, pastas, meats, all kinds of, there's just a whole variety of foods that you can find in shelf-stable meals that could be heated up, but they're already fully cooked, so all you need to do is open and eat them, and these are great options. What you need to remember, if you have cans and they do not have a pull top, make sure you add a can opener to your emergency supplies. And if you're looking at putting some food options in your bug out bag, make sure you put in one of the little P38 or P52 can openers, the military can openers, that are very handy. They take up no room and they're extremely useful in an emergency if you needed to open a can. You can find all kinds of granola bars. They can be from fruit to nuts to chocolates to oatmeal. Get the ones that your family likes and enjoys. Look for packets of dried fruits and nuts. Look for dehydrated foods. Look for fruit pouches. Look for juices. Anything you could tear open and eat. Look for things like boxes of cereal and shelf-stable milk. Milk that doesn't need to be refrigerated if cereal is something you like. You can find food for several days that doesn't require any cooking. Start with foods that need water added to them or need to be cooked. Then you could end up with a bigger problem on your hands than just being able to make a meal and deal and figure out what to do next. Have a 3-day supply minimum of foods that are just open and eat. Then you can go ahead and add foods that you just add water or just need to cook a little bit, and those are great foods to have to shore up your pantry and fill in your long-term food supply so that you have plenty going forward. Don't stop at the minimum. Start with the minimum and build your food storage a little at a time. Every time you go to the store or you have an opportunity to shop, stock up on something else. Keep putting things aside until you have a nice supply. There are all kinds of reasons why we might have emergencies and shortages, and you don't want to find that you didn't supply enough food to feed your family in any situation. Once you have a nice supply of food, have the items you need to help provide safe meals for yourself. Get a simple camping stove. A butane stove is only like $20. Then make sure you have some extra fuel canisters. You can get something as simple as a few cans of Sterno. You can even go to the Dollar Tree and look for the little cans of Fancy Heat. It's like Sterno. You remove the lid, there's a wick, you light it. It's like an alcohol stove, and you can use this to heat food for about 2 hours. Look for them where they have the party supplies. You're also going to need things like paper plates, plastic utensils, cups, and I'll put a link to a video I made on how to help do dishes when there's little to no running water. That might give you some ideas on how you can continue to serve meals when there's little or no water in emergency situations, or even if you're just camping. When there's food going in, there's food going out. Make sure you have toilet paper. Get some paper towels and some trash bags. Look for the white drawstring bags because they're great for mealtime cleanup. They're also wonderful to use in a portable toilet if you needed to use one of those in an emergency. I'll put a link to a video I made about how to use a portable toilet, which would be called a luggable loo or a honey pot, in case you need to have that in an emergency situation. And giant big black garbage bags, the sturdiest ones you can find, are always great. There are so many things you can do with a big black plastic bag for any kind of an emergency, besides just taking out the trash. The next item that FEMA recommends you have is a radio. For an emergency radio, I like the Eaton Scorpion. It's lightweight and it is multifunctional. Not only does it crank up as a radio, it has AM, FM, it has a long antenna, it has a built-in flashlight, a bottle can opener, it has a carabiner clip on it. You could hook it to your backpack, to your purse, to your belt loop, and you could have it handy wherever you decide to go. Even have a USB port so you could charge up your cell phone if you needed it. The next item you need is a flashlight. Do not just have one. You need to have a flashlight for every person in your family. You should have one by everybody's bed. You should have them scattered around in your car, in your bug out bag, in your get home bag, and every place that you would want to see if the lights went out. It's very important that you not only have a variety of flashlights, but that you also have the batteries that go with them. You can get big heavy duty ones, which you could also use as personal protection if you needed to. My favorite is this USB rechargeable. It has a zoom in focus and it has a USB rechargeable end. You can plug it in. Any place you can plug in a USB, you can recharge this flashlight. Headlamps are also a great kind of a flashlight to have. You put them on your head, turn them on, your hands are free for any task that you need to do. Beyond flashlights, maybe you want to get some lanterns. You can get them even at the Dollar Tree, and you can get USB rechargeable little battery operated lanterns. I also like to have an oil lamp with extra oil, some extra wicks. Glow sticks are a great light to have around children because they're not going to set anything on fire, and they can go all night long if they need some comfort if the power goes out and they need to try to go to sleep. Also pick up a cotton mop. I'll put a link to a video I made on how to make an endless supply of oil lamps with the strings off of a cotton mop. FEMA also recommends that you have a whistle and then things like plastic sheeting and duct tape to make an emergency shelter. Here's an idea. Instead of just getting a whistle and some plastic sheeting, look at something like a life bivvy from Go Time Gear. It's an emergency bivvy bag or sleeping bag that is very large, it's very sturdy, and it comes with a drawstring pouch that includes paracord and a whistle. The whistle is very loud. You can also look at the Life tent, also from Go Time Gear. It sets up like a tube tent. It's made out of extremely sturdy material that's reflective on the inside that comes with the cordage for you to set it up. You can shelter several people in your family together in it. It also includes paracord and an emergency whistle. The combination of the two makes sure that you have great emergency shelters, whether you need to use them in your house or with your bug out bag and use them should you be stranded away from your home. In place of plastic sheeting, you can also use several of your heavy duty black plastic garbage bags, paracord, and duct tape. You need a first aid kit. Make sure you include over-the-counter medications, a thermometer, feminine hygiene supplies, and any prescription drugs that you take. Have some moist towelettes or make your own. You need several tools, including things like pliers, screwdrivers, wrenches, multi-tools. If you use natural gas for your utilities, make sure you also have a utility shutoff tool so you can turn your gas off if there should be a leak after something like an earthquake. If you have to leave your home in any kind of an emergency, have a route planned, you know where you would go, how you would get there, and that you have a supply of paper maps so that you can find your way if the electronics or your phone stops working. Have some chargers so that you can charge up your electronics that you rely on. You can have some backup batteries, extra cords, have a plug that fits the wall and an outlet, say, in your car. Maybe you want to have a solar battery charger. Then plan for emergency situations that could have the greatest impact on you. Do you have a baby? Make sure you have an adequate supply of diapers, wipes, and food. Do you have pets? Make sure you have enough food, extra water for them, and a carrier or a leash so that you have those supplies in a to-go bag should you be forced to evacuate and go somewhere else. You need to have a bug out bag so that if you had to leave your home, you could. Have a change of clothes in there, have a little bit of all of these different categories of emergencies, and write down a list of the emergency contacts that you would most need to get in touch with, the people that mean the most to you. Write down their phone numbers, their addresses, their contact information. Have a written copy of your bank accounts, your doctor, your hospital, all your most important information. Have an extra copy of those documents in your bug out bag. Know who you could call if you needed help with emergency child care. Have a backup plan so that you're ready for all the different things that can happen to us. There's so many different emergencies that can crop up, and if we just try to think a little bit ahead, make a plan of how to deal with those, we aren't going to just panic and not know what to do. We'll be able to take a deep breath, refer to our plan. We may not like it, but we'll have something that we can think to do that'll help smooth the way to get us through whatever the situation is. The longer we live, the more emergency situations and hardships we will encounter, but the more we go through, the more we know we can go through it, we can do it, and we're going to be okay going forward. So get together the things that you need, that you count on having, to keep your life running as smoothly as possible. If you found my video useful, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might like it. And please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.